Hey everybody, welcome back. My name is Justice McCraney, and I am so excited to give you guys a sneak peek inside our acting cinema course taught by famed actor and director Bruce Marchiano. Now, this is just one of the many episodes and lessons that he teaches inside our academy at tomorrowsfilmmakers.com. So, without further ado, here is a sneak peek inside the academy as we learn from Bruce Marchiano all about cold readings. Enjoy.
Let's talk about cold reading. Cold reading, I mean, even the title, cold reading, it has this ominous note. It's just like the audition room. It's one of the most difficult things for an actor to do. But it is your ticket to getting work, part of your ticket to getting work. And it's a very specific skill that is a little bit different from when you've got the job and you've got your script memorized and you're on set and ready to go. Some of the stuff I'm going to be discussing, it's going to overlap and dovetail and be a little bit repetitive from the last session on the audition room. But if I repeat things, it's because it's really, really important. Okay. Overall notes, number one, it's very awkward. Very difficult. Number two, it's all about connection. It's all about eye-to-eye connection. That's the key in cold reading. Actors often make the mistake of thinking it's about deep emotion or creating a character or great performance. It's not about all that. It's about connection. It's about this right here. So the number one thing about cold reading is you want to look this casting director or whoever is reading with you directly in the eye and deliver your lines with great sincerity. We'll get into this quote more later. It's one of my favorite actor quotes. Old-time actor named Spencer Tracy, one of the greatest actors of all time. And I think it was Burt Reynolds that, as a young actor, Burt ran into him on the Paramount Studios lot. And he was so excited, and he says, "Mr. Tracy, I've been a fan of you forever. What's the magic? What's the key?" And Spencer Tracy looked at him and said these famous words: "Hit your mark and say it like you mean it." Hit your mark and say it like you mean it. And as silly as that sounds, it's huge. Very few actors can accomplish this. And that's what you're looking for in the cold reading, as well as in performance, which we'll get into later. Obviously, there's no mark in the audition room. Generally, you're sitting in a chair, looking someone face to face, but that part, say it like you mean it. Eye-to-eye connection, listening, is the most important thing in a cold reading. I mentioned this in the previous session. You want to take your time. You want to find those moments in your scene where you're not speaking. That not speaking moment is the magic on film. So you want to force yourself to take your time. In preparing your script, you want to make definite choices and commit to them. Actors tend to make choices and then be very unsure about themselves and be very unsure about their choices. They sit in the audition room and they've got their choices in their head, but they're thinking, I don't know if this is what the director wants. And so there's a measure of unsureness. You've got to somehow separate yourself from that unsureness. You've got to say to yourself, as an actor, as a creative person, this is the choice I made, and I'm going to run with it. You've probably heard, if you've taken acting class, you've probably heard take risks. Take risks. This is an aspect of taking a risk. You made this choice. It may be the completely wrong choice. That's okay. The director knows he can direct you. He can redirect you. In fact, in an audition, I'll often say, look, I've made some choices here. I'm going to go with them. I don't know if it's what you want, but please, if you'd like me to make some adjustments, just let me know, okay? But what I'm getting to is commit to those choices. Commit fully to those choices that you've made. Otherwise, you're going to come off very wishy-washy. Otherwise, they'll be able to see it in your eyes. They can see that unsureness in your eyes. Another aspect of cold reading. You don't want to memorize, they call them sides. Most often they'll just send you to prepare, they'll send you the scene that you're auditioning with. They won't send you the whole script. That scene is called your sides. Sometimes they'll send you 4 or 5 different scenes if it's an important role. Okay, you don't want to memorize your sides. Casting directors don't like it. It makes them very nervous when they see an actor isn't using their sides, isn't looking down in the middle of reenacting, in the middle of their cold reading. Even if you accidentally memorize your sides, which quite often happens, still you want to look down at the piece of paper. It's like this. You just like blah, 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 blah. You don't want to put that piece of paper down. It's a funny little trick that if you do that, the casting directors get very uncomfortable and very distracted. Don't memorize your sides. You get your sides. They've emailed you your sides. Now what do you do with it? I talked about choices. You want to make definite actors' choices based on the material that you have. And we'll get into in later sessions how you make those choices based on motivations, based on relationships, and things like that. As I mentioned earlier, you want to 100% commit to those choices. They may be totally wrong, but commitment is everything. Okay. You want to keep in mind, again, what they're looking for is a sense of your personality. They want your persona, and they want to see it all right here. So you want to force away that tendency to want to make this big dramatic performance. A bad actor will yell. A bad actor will go rah, 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 like that because they think it's great acting. A good actor will stop and look the casting director in the eye and say, rah, rah, rah. You see the difference. One is melodrama, and the other is all here. It's direct, it's personal, and on screen, it looks wow. So you want to force away that tendency. Actors love their big moments. Don't love your big moment. Your big moment is the fullness of your personality coming through your eyes as you connect with that casting director in your cold reading. Okay, practicalities. I said don't memorize your signs. Do memorize your first line and your last line. Why? Because you want to be right here, eye to eye. You want to make a strong first impression, and you want to make a strong last impression. Cold reading technique is actually very, very simple. You've got your piece of paper here, and you're doing the scene with the reader, usually the casting director, and you have to find your lines. You got to look down on that piece of paper. What you don't want to do is while the casting director is talking, you're looking down here. That'll end it. In the casting director's mind, that ends it right there. What you do need to do is develop the skill of picking up that line that quick so that you have this constant connection. That constant connection is remarkably important. If the casting director is delivering the other character's lines and they see that you're down here like this, you're out. You've lost the job. And that leads me to another most important thing in a cold reading: listening, listening, listening. There isn't an actor in 1,000 who listens. It's amazing. I just did a film recently, and the other actor I could see while we were doing our scenes together, it was like his eyes just glazed over. He wasn't listening to it. It was as if he was alone in the room, he would have done the exact same thing. That doesn't work on film, and it doesn't work in a cold reading. Listening is everything. I will probably talk about this 5,000 times before these workshops are over, because it is just that important. So you're sitting there with your cold reading, and the casting director is talking as the other character. Don't look down. Listen, listen, listen. React to what they said. No. React. Get your line like that. Very quick. See that? Boom. And that's a skill you can train yourself for. Boom. You get your line, you take a moment, and you give it to them. And then you listen. That's winning cold reading right there. Now, the key to that is getting that line quick. I'm just going to tell you that this is a skill you need to learn for the audition room. And you can practice it. You can actually train your eyes to take in 3 sentences in a quick glance. You'll start off with 3 words, but you can actually, as you do it and practice it more and more. I remember as a young actor, I used to sit there with a book and just while I was watching TV, I'd be watching TV and I go, boom, blah, 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 boom, blah, 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 blah. And you increase your eye's ability to take in more lines. This is a skill that you need to develop for the cold reading room. Obviously, you highlight your lines so that they're easy to find. And then the other practical thing, these are funny little practical things that will go a long way toward getting you a job. As the scene develops, you're running your thumb down the script so that your eye goes right to your thumb, you pick up your highlighted lines, and you're right back in this connection. Again, 99.9% of your cold reading has to be right here. The 0.1%, you're getting your lines. The 0.1% is you're going down your script. In most cold readings, that's sadly reversed, and that's why most actors don't work. That's one of the reasons most actors don't work. You need to train yourself to get as much of that line in a quick half-a-second glance as possible while the casting director is not reading the other character's lines. So your assignment, I'm like a teacher giving assignments here. Your assignment is to start working on that skill. It can be any piece of writing. Don't use your cell phone. Don't use actual paper because that's what you want to walk into the casting room with. I remember when I was casting Allison's Choice, some of the actors, they had their sides on their phone. It was distracting to me as a director. You want to print these things out and have an actual piece of paper. And while you're watching TV, while you're doing just everyday life, just begin to develop that skill of training your eyes to take in as much of a sentence. And you'll actually get to 2, 3, 4 sentences, boom, with a single glance as possible. That's what frees you up to do all the things that you need to do to hit a home run. Listening, connection.
So I hope that you guys really enjoyed that. If you want to learn more from Bruce Marchiano and have access to his entire 5-hour-long in-depth acting course, check out tomorrow's filmmakers.com. And also be sure to check out our completely free 1-hour filmmaking training where I share with you guys my 15 secrets to improve your filmmaking, how to make money as a videographer, and also practical tips on how to get into filmmaking. And you can find all that information in the notes below. So if you are looking for a personal mentor to walk you through your filmmaking journey and weekly training videos just like this, head on over to our online Christian Film Academy at tomorrowsfilmmakers.com, and I will see you guys there.